Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, Miss Jamie?
Yeah, not Tyler.
Not Tyler. Tyler's not going to be with us tonight, but he'll be back hopefully next week. And we're going to go ahead and get some shout outs done. Going to see how Miss Jamie's week is going. How's it going, Miss Jamie?
Oh, it's going really great. So, got eggs in the incubator. We're waiting for another snake to shed and hanging out with the boys. My better half is off gallivanting New Mexico. So it's just me and the 5 kids here. And it's been fun and interesting. And the house isn't burnt down. So I'm good.
And you've been busy. Busy. Well, we cut eggs Saturday. So we have a very nice clutch of. So the pairing was the chocolate Batman to just a GHI. But every one of those babies come out looking amazing. Got some awesome heads for some holdbacks. And now we're just going to wait for another clutch to drop. Hopefully, I think on the 1st is our next one that's due. And I can't even tell you the pairing on that one. I just can't remember right now.
Yeah, those babies, I saw the pictures of them today. They're really pretty. And sometimes even just the simplest combos are beautiful in their own right. They're really nice.
Absolutely. Hey, Mr. James, how's it going? Always first him. It's either him or Sammy, but I tell you what, James has been in the lead here lately. There's slacking number 2, Mr. Sammy.
Slacking.
We got Hot Pockets here, Mr. Chris, or Will. He says, tell Chris to stop slacking and get, Deep Line OD Scrambler into the het puzzle already. Man, he's got some sick stuff.
I think he's working that. Yeah.
What's up, Chuck?
I'll let him speak to that.
Did you get that? I said, what's up, Chuck? You didn't get it, did you? Jamie, are you there?
Yes, Jamie. I am. I'm going to have to turn off my boys' internet. I think they got on the games. Hang on one second. It's always fun you have it on the phone.
Absolutely. What's up, Lucky? Lucky's Pythons. How's it going this evening? Miss Sarah, how's it going? Working but listening. We appreciate that very much. Serpents, how's it going? And the one and only Balls Deep, Mr. Chris, how's it going? Yes. And there's Joshua. How's it going, man? Miss Tara. We love you, Tara.
Hi, Tara.
Cleaning tubs but listening. We appreciate that, Will.
I did that yesterday, or at least ASF tubs.
Yeah. Let's see. Bone Daddy. What's up, everybody? Everybody's at work this evening, but they're listening. I'm so happy for that. We've got an amazing guest. Amazing. Jamie Rising Phoenix. Hello,
hey, Jamie.
Just cuddle time. How's it going, ma'am? Hope all is well. All right. Well, I guess without further ado, we'll just bring out our guest I've been like so giddy and happy and secretive about until the very last minute, y'all. Looky here. It's Chris.
Yay!
Hey, peeps.
So glad to have you on. It was so awesome to meet you in Florida. I wanted to take a picture with you, but man, your table stayed busy. And like,
it was a lot. It was a lot. I mean, we made some sales too, but there was more talking than sales. Everybody had scrambler questions and deep orange line questions, and it's a good problem to have.
Yes, and my friend Sammy bought a snake from you.
Oh, Sammy Vardy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was the one that told him go back to the table and get the genetics, write them down.
Yeah, he lost them still, so he sent me a PM, a message from somewhere, and said, "Hey man, what was in that snake again?"
Well, that's because he likes blue tape. That's how he keeps up with his animals, and I give him hell about it all the time.
He's a good dude for sure.
Oh, yes.
Super nice guy.
Very nice guy.
So I got to tell you, like until 3 or 4 months ago, I didn't really do these things. I'd get a few people to ask me here or there, but my mindset was always, who gives a shit what I have to say? I mean, it's the snakes, right? You want a nice, beautiful orange snake, or the snakes sort of do all the talking, is what I thought. But I can't tell you how many people have come up to me and said, "Oh man, I saw you on this or that," and who knew I was so interesting?
Everybody except for
Everybody
you.
except for you.
Everybody. Okay. Yeah, I still don't get it, but I appreciate it.
Well, it's you're a ton of knowledge. You've done it for so many years, and the quality of your animals, they speak for themselves, you know. And that's just like you coming on here. You don't need to introduce yourself. If they don't know who you are, just go on.
Go do your research.
Exactly. Go do your research. You know, it's
I'm the orange man for anybody who doesn't know, and not the one running for president.
I was gonna say something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for anybody who doesn't know, I'm all about quality, and especially with Orange Dream. I reset my whole collection years and years ago with high intensity Orange Dream. I still have a few regular Orange Dream combos that I work with. Yeah, I just like Jamie's comment. Jamie is in Fenton, which is like 15 minutes from me. So we actually have a Mandarin project that we both got animals from the Netherlands on. He's a good dude for sure. Jamie from Rising Phoenix Reptiles, guys.
Yeah, he's awesome, dude.
So anyway, yeah, so I just really, I can still remember, like, when I got my first high intensity Orange Dream animal, I had the opposite reaction, I think, to most people. It was really amazing, but people were talking about, well, I can't go backwards. You know, like, I've already got it in clown, or I've already got Super OD clown. It's going to take me 4 years or 5 years to get that back. And for me, it was like, I just have to do it. I mean, it was a no-brainer. I'm like, this is so much better. And it is kind of going backwards, but what I always tell people, like, you know, if you're trying to catch up to the big breeders, or you're trying to make what they make, you know, if you invest, it's almost like a pyramid scheme, right? Like, if you invest at the higher or the top level, then you can get some of that. But as the price goes down over time and different combos are made, or the market gets saturated with a certain kind of animal, so many people can lose. But I just think you never lose with quality. And the only race I'm in, really, I mean, I'm starting to get into recessives and stuff now a little bit, but I've got two advantages. One is the quality of the combos I made, especially with the 2 lines of high intensity Orange Dream I use. There's just really nothing else out there that nice. So if you want it, you got to come to me. So that's nice, at least for me.
What's up, Patrick?
But I always tell people to, like, just follow your passion with this stuff, because it could be looked at like it's going backwards. But if you love it, first of all, there's your enjoyment. And if you become good at it and you just focus on it, you kind of can create your own niche. And that's sort of, I think, where I'm at now. And I've gotten lucky. I mean, I've got great customers, and I've gotten lucky on certain things like the scrambler gene. When I first started making that, and I've got some animals I could show you as we move along, but when I first started making combos with that, I was like, I don't know what the hell this is, but it's something, right? And so then it took like 3 or 4 years to kind of figure it out and go, oh, I was really close. And then I saw a guy named Mark Mandick. Do you guys know who Mark is in Canada?
I've heard of him. I've not really researched him.
Okay. So he has Marcus Jane Ball Pythons. Jane is his wife. And I started seeing him post some animals, and they were super orange, and he was calling it this Gene Scrambler. And I go, that looks fucking familiar. I use that in my stuff. So I started talking to him. Long story short, we exchanged pictures and ideas and whatever. And it's Scrambler. And what's funny is, because I always, like, when I'm going to buy something, I just use my eyes before I see the genes that are in it, because it can be, you know, it can be a triple recessive, but if it doesn't catch my eye, or I can't look at it and say, well, if I add this, that, and the other thing, it's going to be great, then for me, at least, I'm not that interested. So what when I made my own clutches of stuff, or when I bought stuff, I would always look for the best and the brightest. And a lot of those animals had scrambler in it, even though I didn't know. So my collection's full of scrambler now too, just because I always kept the best and the brightest, or found the best of the brightest, and lo and behold, they've got scrambler.
That's awesome.
And scrambler is nice. It's starting to grab a whole lot of attention.
It is. And
whenever I seen his snakes in Florida, I swear they look like rubber toys. They're so pretty. I was just like, is that real or is that a rubber snake? They just,
I get that a lot. Like when I try, I will, if I'm taking photos or videos for people, or putting it on Morph Market or whatever, if I don't, I will only adjust the color to try to make it look like what the animal actually is, right?
Yes.
Because the last thing you want to do is over brighten something or make it look super orange, and then somebody buys it and gets it and they're disappointed. If they do that, they're going to be unhappy. They're not coming back. They're going to feel like they got robbed, so I don't do that. And I think most reputable breeders don't do that. But because of what you just said, my stuff is so orange, some of it really doesn't look real. And when people see it in person or they buy it and they get it, I get that kind of comment all the time, which is great, because now I just exceeded some expectations.
Yeah.
And
that's amazing. When people look at it and say, that can't be real, you're onto something.
Yeah. And I've got a few of those animals I can show you. You guys want to see something now?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I've been telling Holly all day about that mandarin male you had posted on Instagram, and it was a larger size one, and I didn't realize how big it was until you touched it. Yeah, that's why there's no way that looks that good, that big. It was impressive.
And that's why what you just said is why I got into the Mandarin project, Jamie, because I would see these as they're younger, and I'm always like, there are lots of clowns that look beautiful when they're young, and then as they age, they don't look so good. So I'm on a quest. I haven't done much with clown, but I'm personally on a quest to make some clowns that hopefully age well. Put high intensity orange cream in there, put Barnard line black pastel, put scrambler, maybe put lace, all that sort of stuff, and really focus on trying to get something that is beautiful when somebody buys it and spends X amount of dollars, and it's beautiful 3 years later too.
Nice.
Well, let me before I get sidetracked, let me show you these snakes. So the first one I'm going to show you is a super high OD from the deep orange line, and it's not my best. There is variation in these things, just like any combo. It's not my best, and I think it's actually even in shed, but we'll see if we can. I can see the color just doesn't even look right on there. It's just so hard to show orange. It seems like orange should be simple to show, but it's
still vibrant, and it never is going to look as good as it does in person, and it's still impressive even in shed.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's so when it's not just the shed either; it's the camera. It just looks kind of tan almost, but I mean that's just the way it's going to be, because it's very hard to get the color. But that's going to make what I have to show next not even as good. So what I wanted to show you is, so this is super high OD, and everybody goes, and it's from the deep orange line. Everybody goes nuts over these, and especially in person, like you said, they're so orange they don't look real. That's my camera. It's just following me. That's weird. But anyway, they don't even look real, but it's very much hard to see with this. So let's try, and maybe I should try and change maybe I should try to wipe that off or something. I don't know. See if that helps. So
I think maybe it's the brown from your wall that's not helping either.
Well, that might be right. All right, so you'll have to use your imagination, I suppose. But imagine that this is one of the most orange snakes you've ever seen, because it normally is. Now, when I add scrambler, and I think 2 doses of scrambler, I get this.
Wow.
And so this is, again, I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it on the screen. It just doesn't even look, it doesn't do it justice, but we'll do our best anyway. What I think we have here is super OD. It's not even high intensity. It's regular orange stream, super scrambler, and then maybe calico. You see all that white kind of coming through?
Yeah.
Down by the belly there. And then you've got that ringer back here.
Mhm.
But I posted this the other day. I've made 2 like this, very different patterns, but the orange is so ridiculous and so bright. You know, I'll get a picture out there so people can see, you know, just how orange they are post shed. But I did a video of that guy. You said my table was busy during the Florida show, and most of it was showing videos of that guy because I mean, even the animals in front of the animals in front of them were great, but that thing was just so. I mean, I can't even. Like, it doesn't look real. It doesn't look real.
No, it's very impressive. And so you think that's a super scrambler?
I think so. Just because I've made enough single gene, and I know I had scrambler on both sides of the pairing, and on 2 different pairings, I got 3 that I would consider, you know, just based on how much better they look, I would consider those to be possible super scramblers. And I was shocked because I've had it so much in my collection, you know, even before I knew what it was. And I've never made snakes that bright. I guess it just, you know, I might have had scrambler here or there, and I just never put them together.
So it is a brightening gene then.
It's a weird one. It is, but it's not just that. So let me get that.
Right.
Well,
I think I like the way that Trap Talk described it as it's like it amplifies everything. It's like an amplifying gene is the way he described it. And that makes sense.
So let me show you with a bigger snake.
Oh man.
That you can see. It almost has like a spider look to it.
Yeah.
Right? So you can see that's not a normal pattern at all. So this is super high OD calico scrambler.
Wow.
Okay. So this girl, scrambler will do all of this kind of stuff here. It just pulls the pattern up from the belly. And it also will take it'll either, you know, like the side pattern is completely missing right here, right? That is supposed to come all the way down in a normal pattern. And then there are plenty of spots here where it's the same. But it'll do that, and it'll also kind of blow it out, like not just lift it up, but just kind of stretch it sideways. Do you see what I'm seeing here? So it just kind of stretches it and almost smears it. So, you know, I've got some single genes, at least what I think are single gene scramblers I made last year. I grew them up, and I'm going to pair them and see what I get. But, you know, what's cool about it is overall brightening. Again, the color on the screen is not half of her color. And so you know, you've got that the extra brightening you get even on top of how bright a high OD is. You've got the smearing like we showed you there. You will also get this kind of spidery look, and you will get, you know, you can see all the blushing and stuff in the pattern. When they're born, these are like very just kind of circular blobs. And sometimes, like I sold a few last year where the circles are just so pronounced. There are pictures of them that are just bizarre. They don't look like anything else because of that. They're just circles on the top, inside of a stripe, and then all that blown out pattern on the side. So it's very weird. It brightens, it messes with
definitely a snake that makes you look twice. It's definitely it's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's, you know, nobody likes spiders anymore. I still love them, but I don't produce.
They're still gorgeous. It's
They're
just the handicap that comes with them.
Right. So for me, that's like kind of like Spider 2.0 or soup. Like, I mean, we're going back 10, 15 years, but the most gorgeous snake I had ever seen back then was a super orange dream, yellow belly, calico spider.
Wow.
They were so beautiful. And this is like that, except more beautiful and brighter and without the wobble problem.
That's wonderful.
So yeah, and I didn't mean to do that. I'd like to tell you I meant to do that, but who cares? Nobody knows. I meant to do that, and it's because I'm such a fantastic breeder. I figured it all out.
There you go.
Well, you started with a good eye. Like you said, you weren't worried about the genetics. You were looking for a look.
Yeah.
And the hard work paid off.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And I guess I'm kind of different in that way where I just I drill down, you know what I mean? Like it's so there's always a new gene, right? There's always something new to get excited about, or a new combo or whatever. And sometimes I go, what the hell am I doing? Nobody, you can go buy an Orange Dream for like $100 or $200 or less, probably less even now on Morph Market or anywhere else. What am I doing with this gene? Nobody else is doing it. But it's that beauty. It's that head turning. If you go to a trade show, and I'm not trying to beat anybody up, but there's a lot of beige, there's not a lot of color popping out there. So I went after the orange, and then with Scrambler and with the deep orange line, you've got a very, very dark pattern. So you get that contrast. And now you add things like black pastel to it, and you get even more contrast and more color. The Barnard line black pastel has orange undertones, so that brings even more orange out. And, so I just look at the snake, like the snake I just showed you, or that super scrambler, that hatchling. I mean, that's just regular OD. So how about super high intensity OD, super scrambler, white lace? The hell does that look like?
Right.
That's pretty amazing.
Or throw Barnard line black pastel in that, or calico. And then you can just start to like multiply. How about I just hatched a clutch they haven't even taken their first meals yet, but I did the super deep orange line to a puzzle. And so I've got single gene deep orange het puzzles.
Are you hearing this, Will?
Yeah, Will was asking in the beginning if you need to throw that to some puzzle. I said, just wait a minute. I think he is.
Yeah, I did. I got 6 of them. I haven't sexed them yet or anything, 6 or 7. And so I'll keep 1 or 2 and I'll be selling the rest. But I actually did it with just high intensity. So I've got 2 different lines. I've got one I call the bright and clean line, and I've got one called the deep orange. And the self-explanatory, right? Bright and clean is bright and clean. They're a little more yellow, not as orange. The deep orange is deep orange. So I did the bright and clean line last year, and I got, and it was just lucky because I didn't know Scrambler yet, but I got 1.1 growing up, and they were so gorgeous. High OD, Scrambler, vanilla, I think, yellow belly, calico, het puzzle. And they are just, they're like 800 grams now, and I'm going to put him to an inchy puzzle female this year and see what we can get out of that.
Oh, wow.
And she's another old gene that I just love. Yeah. I love it so much.
And she was my first love. Before I found Orange Dream, I loved it.
I love your super gravel ultra melts.
Yeah, those are pretty cool, right?
Those things, I cannot wait to see what they look like when they get older.
I know. That's the final say, right? I do have a male that is from last year, and I can tell you, unfortunately, he has lost a lot of that sort of reddish color that it has. And you never know until you grow them up. But I still think it's a good base. And what do we add to it? Some of the same things we've been talking about. Like if I could make a super gravel, super deep orange ultramel, that would probably keep it. Or add the Barnard line black pastel. That's going to add a lot more orange, a lot more contrast. And we talked a little bit, I think, before the show started, but for me, I can't tell you how many great projects with regular black pastel that I've passed on because the Barnard stuff just works so much better with Orange Dream.
It's out of the water, doesn't it?
It just does. And if my friend Wes, I didn't tell, Wesley Hatmaker from Muscle and Geeks, I did not, the thing you sent me to post, I didn't get to post it. So a lot of my followers don't know that I'm on here. It didn't, for some reason, it didn't work. But anyway, so if he hears this, or it's recorded and he hears it, Muscle and Geeks ball python, but he's heard this story a lot. I bet I've spent no less than $15,000 trying to buy my way ahead with intensity Orange Dream projects. In other words, like, I can put a high intensity Orange Dream to a clown and get hets, but this guy's selling a clown with high OD plus yellow belly and fire. How about I just buy that? Well, I go and I buy it and I spend $3,000 or $4,000, and inside of 6 months to a year, it looks like shit. And there's just a lot of high OD out there that the quality is just not there. And the people that come to me, they expect that. So if I spend I've got a my friend Wes again was laughing at me because I have a male, I paid $3,500 for him. He's on Morph Market right now, and I think I've got him for $1,000 or less, and nobody wants him. And I'm just honest. I go, look, I bought this guy to get ahead, but I found a nice way to say he sucks. and my customers expect the best from me. And if I sell them something, I made a clutch with him too. As soon as I saw him get to a certain size, I sold all that stuff cheap because I don't want people to associate that with me. That's my whole niche is quality. And if you're going to spend the money, you expect to get the quality and you expect it to stay looking good,
Yes.
So I've kind of come to the conclusion that if I'm going to I can't buy my way into projects anymore. I can with things like puzzle because I don't have any except the heads made. I had to buy a puzzle, so I can do stuff like that. My buddy Wes, again, we did, and also I want to mention Blockers ball pythons. I've done a couple. I'm trying to do a project with them to get Desert Ghost in with Mandarin because we know what Mandarin. I think it was Jamie that was talking about the adult female super Mandarin hypo. How good she looks at whatever she is, 2,500 grams or 3,000 grams.
Yeah.
It almost looks like a hatchling. And I'm telling you, she's better in person. That you can't pick up the oranges just in your room, but that's why I got into it. There's that quality again in the adult. So I want to see it with Desert Ghost.
Yeah, I like Desert Ghost.
We know what it does with hypo, and hypo does a great job. But who knows what it looks like with Desert Ghost? I would think. I mean, they're similar. They're different, but they're similar. And if we could get a super Mandarin Desert Ghost tomorrow, I mean, you could just plug that into so many projects that are already out there because Desert Ghost is so everybody loves it.
Yeah. Yep. We're going to take a quick break for our sponsor video and we'll be right back.
I'm laughing. I'm watching some of your sponsors like Balls Deep Reptile.
Yeah, Balls Deep.
Chris is the man. He is hilarious. I tell you, if I'm having a bad day, I know I can just call that man and he would make it just
that's
like that.
A good quality to have. I'll tell you, like that. It just reminded me, like, so we were at Daytona. We were talking about that a little earlier. Oh my God, the funniest damn thing. And then I saw him later at the show. So there's a guy. We were eating breakfast, and because there were so many people there for the first day, we were actually eating outside at some picnic tables at this diner. And there's this guy in a wheelchair. Maybe he's 70 something, and there's a older but younger than that, maybe mid 50s to 60, a guy and his wife, and they're all together, right? So they're done with breakfast. They're getting ready to leave, and they're trying to be real nice to the guy that's in the wheelchair. And they're like, "Oh, well, come on, we'll walk through." It's like, no, go on up ahead of me. I like watching your wife from behind.
That's great. Hey, Bear, what's up, man? Oh,
man. Everybody outside just started laughing, and the guy goes, "I bet you do, you sick son of a bitch."
That's funny.
And then I saw him later. Yeah, he was honest. Then I saw him later at the show, and I went over to him, and he's got a shirt that says, grandpa's balls. And I go, oh, okay.
Yeah, grandpa's balls. And his shirt says, don't Google it.
Yes. I still need to get one of those shirts.
Yeah, don't Google that.
Don't Google it. Well, Muscles and Geeks, they're down by me. We're here. I'm down here in Tennessee. So I've got
really?
a few really good breeders down here. Yeah.
So going to Daytona, I went to Tennessee first, which was 8 hours in a car.
Yeah.
My wife did most of the driving, though. My wife is friends with Wesley's wife. And then at 1 o'clock in the morning, me, Mike from Blocker's Ball Pythons, and Wesley from Muscles and Geeks pile our shit into a Suburban we rented and drive for 10 hours to Daytona.
Nice. Because you're up close to Holly, Michigan, right?
Yeah, I'm in Holly,
Yeah.
Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, I flew last year and I shipped my animals, and the shipping was expensive and unnerving. You put that many animals.
Wow. Yeah.
But the drive was tough. It was better. I felt better about the animals, but the drive, oh my God, it was 20 hours each way.
Yep. I've done that drive. So I used to live in Florida. My parents live in Monroe, Michigan. So
there you go. Yeah. So it was tough, but the show is worth it. I mean, I make so many sales. I mean, I made sales just advertising, hey, I'm going to the show. And I'd show my displays full of animals, and somebody'd be like, I sold 2 higher dollar animals on my way to the show, just, showing a picture of the display. And then, I get so much interest, and I got sales afterwards. So it was great. I mean, like everybody else, the market has definitely been down, but I would say for me, at least in the last month to 2 months, it's been insane. I mean, a complete 180. And I know there are other people out there struggling, but I think it's a good sign to hear that it's coming back for somebody, because that means it's probably coming back for other people too.
I don't think it's so much the industry that's hurting as it is our finances and the economy, basically, is what's hurting. The reptile industry, I think, is wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess with COVID, there were just so many people. What's funny is this is how wrong I can be about things. When COVID really hit, I go, well, I'm not going to sell another snake this year. And then the exact opposite happened, right? Everybody sold everything. I mean, as long as it was slithering, you could sell it. So I think a lot of those people got into the market or got into reptiles because they were at home. There's nothing else to do. And I know for a fact, because I foster dogs too. I foster labs. It's been almost a year since I fostered, but I can tell you we're packed full of fosters now, and they're beautiful Labrador retrievers, but people buy them because they were stuck at home, and then they go, wow, this is a lot of work. And now I'm back to my job. I'm back to my nightlife. I'm back to whatever. And now they're just trying to push off these animals. So I think it's a little bit the same with snakes, but I do think we're coming out of it. I can remember looking at Morph Market and seeing like 65,000 animals listed or something like that. And I was like, oh my God. And I haven't looked at it lately, but last time I looked at it was maybe 25 or 35 or something like that.
I think it's half that now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people are selling in auctions. A lot of people bred.
How do you feel about those auctions on Morph Market?
I mean, it's an outlet. So it's a double-edged sword, right? But that's why it works. So people are selling stuff cheap. And it sucks because, like, shit, I bought a super, I'll give you an example. I didn't auction this, but I bought a super asphalt male for $3,500 from Josh and Jackie during COVID sometime, right? And he just sold him as an adult for $800.
Right.
And there's a lot of that. It hurts, right? But it's a way to sell, and it's a way to get people to be comfortable buying, I think it's not that people aren't interested. They're worried about that kind of loss. So what am I going to do? Invest in this now? And it's only going to be $800, just like Chris just said happened to him. It's happened to all of us, some people worse than others. And I think it's an outlet for some of that stuff. And it's good because even as breeders, you know, you had extra inventory, at least I did, on a lot of stuff. But so it allowed me, I sold a few bigger animals. I wish I'd have got more for them. I sold an entire clutch that way in an auction, just because I was like, I took 2 or 3 animals out of it I wanted. I go, I don't want any more of these. I'm not doing any shows for like 3 months because I've got a real job on top of this. This is just my hobby. So it was a way to sell it. It was a way to get it moved without having to go to a show and all that. So what do you think, I guess, Holly? I'm interested in other people's take on it too.
My take is, like you said, it's a double-edged sword. You can go on there, buy some amazing animals still, but then when you go to put your stuff on there, it's going to go dirt cheap.
Yeah.
But I also think it depends on the quality of the animal. Like, I think right now I know I have reassessed my collection personally, and like, okay, I need to get rid of these animals. These are not going to make me any money. When I'm out buying animals, I want high quality animals. I don't, I waited for almost 3 years before I got into the hurricane project, and I love it, but I wanted that quality and not just the, oh, it's hurricane, let me buy it. So, that's what you really got to go for when you're buying. Yeah, this stuff's a good deal, this, that, and the other, but don't worry about it. Wait until you see the perfect animal for your projects. And so our hurricane, Sammy and I went in on them together. We got out of California at the Pomona show, and I'm so glad I waited.
Well, that's good. That's awesome. Yeah, I've got people, I've let a handful of the deep orange line stuff go, like supers. And I'm excited to see what people do with it because they're going to do different things than me. They'll do some of the same things, but they'll do different things. And, just getting them into other people's hands and having them get excited about it too is just going to make it better. And it's going to make more people, I think, interested in the project. But if you go back to the auctions for a minute, I think it's, you're right. You can put a reserve. And I usually do. I put a small reserve or a low reserve, and sometimes it didn't sell, and sometimes I only got one bid, but that's all I needed, right? So it's an outlet, I guess, and I think it has it has its goods and its bads, but good and bad side, or like we said, double-edged sword, but it's working, or it's allowed. It's opened up people's minds and wallets for less, but it allowed product to flow and enabled things to start to turn around, I think.
Right. Yeah.
I like them because they help me think creatively. So I've probably bid on 25, 30 snakes, but I only won one. So, but it helps me think, how can I use that in my, I'm new. So how can I use that? Can I use that? What can I pair it to? I only have 42 snakes. I have a limited space. So the one I did win, I got a Desert Ghost Orange Dream from Redhead Reptiles, which I was really excited about that. That's high quality. You don't normally get that, It also depends on who's auctioning too. And I like that sometimes they put these high dollar auctions on there to see what they would go, but the reserve is set pretty high. You can see that they don't hit the reserve. And I think they're using it also to price what the market is willing to pay right now for some pretty unique animals too. So I like how people are using it as a tool and not just to offload animals.
Yeah. And I'm glad you reminded me that you're new at this, Jamie. Like the thing that I see people with new people in general, this is maybe going off on a tangent, but so many new breeders will buy males because they're cheaper and they're pretty.
Yeah.
And like, look at this high quality male. Well, he's got like 7 or 8 of them, right? And 2 females that are hatchlings. It's like, you just, so for anybody out there that is maybe brand new, it takes 2 to 3 years for a female to become sexually mature if you want to breed her. It takes about 6 months for a male. They're horny little buggers, like all males of all species out there. And so get yourself the female, let her grow, and then take your time to find the best male you can. Years and years and years ago, I remember on somebody's website that was doing this. I was like, wow, this guy does this full time. This is amazing. And he taught me that, it was a long video. It was before YouTube and stuff. So I don't even remember how I saw it. Maybe it was YouTube back then, but it was the beginning. But anyway, he just explained that whole thing. He's like, you invest in that female and you get whatever genes you want, as much as you can afford. And you let her go for 1.5 to 2 years, and then you find the male for her. And I think, especially when you're first starting out, it's hard to do because it's so new, and it's like, oh, look at that. Oh, look at this one. Look at this one. This one's so cool, right? And you end up with a bunch of stuff that is awesome, but you can be overwhelmed easily.
Yeah. Yeah, then when you start talking to new breeder, like I'm a new breeder, I'm getting in, they're like, hey, I got this cool. I've had a breeder I'm going to just send you this extra male. I'm like, thanks. He's awesome. I don't know what I'm going to do with him, but he's sitting in my drawer and he's going to become a pet for my son and I didn't have to pay for him, but I've had that happen too.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. I can't say I've had that happen. I don't know if I've ever done that for somebody or not. I may have. But I was lucky enough this year that I got high female clutches for the first time. Usually, if it's high anything, it's males. I was so pissed. I'm glad I did. I like to do, if I'm doing a project, I like to at least do with 2 females because you don't know, one may not go or whatever, right? Sometimes both don't want to go. But it was super high OD, deep orange to a clown. So this is going back a couple of years now. Maybe this was last year. It doesn't matter. I got 9 eggs. I think I got 10 or 11 and 9 hatched. I'm so stoked. I'm like, this is a great clutch, right? They're all head clown, one after another. Male. I got 9 males. I couldn't.
Oh man.
I've never done that before or since, but this year I had a clutch that was like that with females. I got 8 or 9 females in one clutch, and I'll take that. That's much better.
Well, mine have all been this year have been 6 females to 2 males, and I'm like, my incubator must be on point.
I know.
Keep it up.
I think we all wonder, like, because you've heard like temperature can influence sex in turtles. I know that for a fact. Maybe not all turtles, some turtles. And you wonder, they say no, at least last time I looked into this, that it doesn't affect it for ball pythons. But I mean, it does seem to be all over the map for me. Sometimes it's lots of males, sometimes it's lots of females, sometimes it's 50-50, but it's never just always about half and half. It seems like it's skews all over the place. And I don't know, but I'm going to leave my incubator set where it is and we'll see.
So are you working any cypress into your projects yet?
I just bought, she's about a year old, a cypress clown from Mike Reed from Blockers Ball Pythons. And I don't know much about it other than I'm like, well, you can definitely see it, right? Is it dominant? Do you guys know?
Yes, to me it is dominant.
Okay.
And it's you get the right combo, it's really nice.
Yeah. So, my goal will be, like I told you, like when I was on one of somebody's podcasts recently, they were like, they did the rapid fire questions at the end.
Yes.
What morph can you do without? And I'm like, oh, come on, man. Somebody's going to beat me. This. And I go, clown. And they go, oh. And, for me, it's just because it doesn't work very well with Orange Dream. But I also said, now that I've said that, I'm sure I will make a beautiful orange clown and I will regret saying it. I said a few years ago I would never work with hypo, and I work with hypo now. So it's just the right genes for the right combo.
But I love how focused you are and you always take it back to your orange dream. Like that's something I think all new breeders, it takes a minute. Like they're like, oh, pick your projects. It takes a minute. There's so much out there. But once you find it, staying focused is going to be key to any success. So once you find it.
I think that's true. I mean, and if you're, I mean, I'm downright obsessive over it, right? And but if you're at least passionate about it because you love it. Like it was probably 3 years ago, and I was just thinking about this dude today. He wanted, I can't remember what, but he bought some high OD for me. I don't know, deep orange or whatever, but his thing was hypo, and this hypo has been making a comeback the last few years.
Yeah.
But it was when you could go buy hypo this and hypo that for nothing, And I still haven't seen if he's done anything about it, but his whole thing, I love talking to the dude because we were similar. He's like, I don't care. I wish it was worth more, but I'm going to keep working with it. And I've got the best hypo, and, it drove him. And I guess, I don't know. It's a balance, right? I was talking to a friend of mine about this the other day. It's like, if I just make everything I want, I'm probably missing the boat on some things, or if I make everything I want and people don't love it and don't buy it, well, you're not going to last long, right? So, but the other side is true too. If I make everything everybody else wants, then I'm not excited about what I'm doing. So, I would lean, it's not a 50-50 mix for me. It really is more of what I want, because I'm lucky enough. I've got a real job to pay the bills, and I'm doing well with this. I don't ever think I'd want to do it full time because I like what I do. But if you can get passionate about it or excited about it or interested in it, and like you said, Jamie, like stay focused. Like it's so hard to go, oh, I had a bad year. I did this stupid thing. I can't believe it. I want to get out of that. Or the price dropped, and I mean, the price dropped in Orange Dream, but my stuff is still super high because I focused on it, and people want that quality. So, I mean, I think there's room out there for any and all of that. You just have to find your niche. You have to find what you're interested in and keep going. And I mean, I diverge too. I those black and white snakes we were talking about earlier, that's to me.
Yeah, see close. Can you show him off? Holly would love to see that snake.
I'd have to go get him, but I could. But
He's super black and gigantic, Holly.
I'm love the dark stuff.
Yeah.
I love the dark side.
You guys you got another commercial you could run, and I'll go run.
I can take you off the stage real quick and add you back when you come back.
All right. I'll be right back.
Oh, you're going to want to see the snake. The snake is super cool.
Yes. So that's something else. Like I see all these people trying to follow projects. We all love Pompeii. We all love this. We all love that. And yeah, one day I'd love to hit one, but we got to work our own stuff too, So Will had mentioned something up here about the hurricane, and then Chris, was talking about the clown stuff. I don't think hurricane looks good in everything, or like hurricane clowns. That's not my favorite. That's not where I want to go with that project.
Well, that's not what drew you to the hurricane. It would take away what you love about the hurricane, which is the mustache curls.
And so I bred, or the ones I cut, we cut this last weekend, the GHI. So it was chocolate Batman to GHI. So yes, they're het clowns, but I want to get the GHI and the ones I made this time to the hurricanes, because the little granulated look to the alien heads on them and stuff. I'll do that project together and eventually put the white lace into it. So it's stuff like that. We all need to kind of work in our own direction and be creative.
Right. See, for me, I got these snakes because they're awesome. And I'm going to be that nerd that loves banana. I love banana, but that doesn't mean I'm going to work banana forever. Yeah. I'm always going to have banana in my collection. I'm always going to have that for the pet people. I plan on doing shows. And that's where I'm starting. And I'm investigating and I'm searching and I'm curious. And eventually I'll find my path. I know I love Desert Ghost. Absolutely love Desert Ghost. He's huge. He's big. And I still love him. So I'm going with that. And I love Barnhart Black Pastel. And, you know, anything that really stands out and pops and gives that contrast to me. So again, I would love to get some of Chris's Orange Dream eventually once I start doing shows and being net positive on my, but we move slow. You know, this is just a hobby of mine to keep me happy. My husband has a day job and I homeschool my kids. So this started as genetic class 101 for us. And then we're going to see where it goes.
Gosh, I don't think I have the male for that female yet. I would love to talk to Chris and see what he has available to
What's
put
that?
with her. So it's the RK Ash, asphalt side. Yeah, I have. Well, we got from Josh, and I need a male to go with her for future projects.
Hurricane Asphalt pied female?
No. RK Asphalt.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a line of asphalt.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's amazing looking. So, okay, Chris, what you got to show off for us?
I wanted to say one more thing about Jamie. I just heard you guys talking when I was on the way back. But, you know, another thing I think, especially starting out, like, you're going to make mistakes. And we're dealing with live animals. Sometimes the animal pays for those mistakes. And I think nobody talks about that because we don't want to look like we've ever done anything wrong, or we don't want to show our mistakes. We want to show the best animals, and we've done it. We've all done it. We've had animals that have died or got sick, even though we seem to have done everything right, you know? And so don't beat yourself up too much over that stuff. And give yourself the ability to make some mistakes, not only with husbandry, but also you buy this animal and you go, this is the greatest thing ever. And then 6 months later, you go, no, it's really not. And that's okay.
And I love that. I love that you veterans that have been in the business for a long time are so accepting of new people. I'm in a fantastic Patreon. I'm going to do a little shout out to Shane Kelly at Small Town Exotics. He's also local to me. I'm part of his Patreon. Holly's helped me out a bunch, and everyone in the group that she's put together, the Reptile Lounge, they're very welcoming. This community is awesome. So I do have tons of resources, and which I know you guys starting off didn't have. So I do appreciate everyone being awesome.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I mean, the community. I mean, there's yin and yang, and it does seem like to me, in the last 3 to 5 years, it has been gradually getting better. But there was a whole, Facebook chapter where it just seemed like there was a lot of venom out there.
Yeah, I think it's still that way. I'm not on Facebook that much. I'm on Instagram.
Yeah, and maybe Facebook. Maybe you're right.
I'm new too. I've only been in this since 2021. So it honestly, the podcast had really helped me at first. I did have to cut out watching so much of it because it just kind of got repetitive, and that's kind of why I just wanted to change things up with like the Reptile Lounge and just have fun with it, help people learn,
Yeah.
And so I want to see the snake, Chris.
You're going to want to see it.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're running out of time, so I got a shot. So of course,
you're not running out of time. We're good.
Of course.
Chris, I don't think
running out of time.
So this
yourself,
they call this a black matter, and he is. You can kind of see that he's. You can see a little bit of the iridescence.
No, I can't hear anything.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, we can hear you. Holly just touched something on her mic, and now she muted herself.
Okay, gotcha. So anyway, black matter, and what this is this particular one is super cinnamon, blackhead, champagne. So
gorgeous.
Fairly simple combo, but talk about contrast. You don't get better contrast than that. And then I love they seem to get various amounts of ringers on them, and then the belly pattern on the side is kind of like that sawtooth or edge, that like almost like torn piece of paper edge.
That lovely blackhead pattern brings to pieds. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And I mean, you can see I've got a black shirt on. He's blacker than my shirt.
Yeah, he is.
And I just hatched a clutch, and actually I pulled him out. I got him with another female that she got to size late, but seemed like she was ready to breed, and so she started to develop follicles, and I just had him in there with her, but there was nothing going on, so I took him out to show you guys. But yeah, they're just so cool. I mean, it's a simple combo, but it's just so beautiful. I mean, just look at that guy.
Yeah, absolutely stunning. And I know Holly kind of is trying to figure out what's going on so she can see him. He's amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
Yeah, these are just, and that's like I just talked about, like, you know, I'm the orange guy, but when I saw this, the guy that made it, I should give him a props. David Gutierrez from Madball Pythons. I believe he's the first one to make it. And when he made this, maybe it was 2 or 3 years ago that I bought it. I mean, I was talking to him all the time, you know, are you going to sell that thing? You going to sell that thing? You going to sell that thing? And he was like, no. You know, I'm like, well, you know, call me if you're going to sell that thing. So eventually he decided, I think it was like right around the downturn of the market. He said, you know what, I've got to sell this so I can feed my animals and do everything else I have to do. So I was lucky enough to get it. And I got my second clutch this year, and I got 4 black matters in it. And I got a set of twins, which was pretty cool.
That is cool.
And I've got this other female that I'm putting him with right now. I can feel I'm kind of old school. I don't have a what do you call it? Ultrasound machine. I just feel as the snake's crawling back in, and I can feel the boom, 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 boom. You know how many follicles they have.
Yeah, I keep trying to do that, but my girls are thick. Maybe I'm not squeezing enough. I've got a couple like 3,000 grams. I can't feel nothing.
Yeah, I think that's pretty typical. I think people just get nervous, and understandably so, right? You're like, you don't want to hurt the eggs, you don't want to hurt the girl, but you know, like, they're snakes, so they're used to squeezing into tight spots. And if I go high enough up on the body and just let it crawl through, I can apply pressure, and it like moves its ribs and flexes things out of the way. Right. And then once it goes past where the eggs are, it goes boink, 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 boink.
So it's the thumb part, or the down beside the dorsal you're feeling, not the stomach, right?
Well, what I do is I've got my thumb up by the dorsal, and then the rest of my hand is on the belly. And so I'm just squeezing. And if it's a big girl, I might even use both hands. Like once she starts crawling into the thing, I can let her go into the drawer. I can let her go and just use both hands to get my hands around her. But it's pressure and I can feel it on my hand with the pressure on the spine from the thumbs. Okay.
Yeah, this is our first year breeding, so I don't have an ultrasound or anything like that. I just waited until they looked like, well, first where they were eating like crazy, where they would like, I'm still hungry after eating a good sized meal. Then I'd start pairing them, and then also bull wrapping. So far I only had 3 clutches, and I'm getting 3 sets of eggs. I only paired 3 females, so that's pretty good for our first season.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you know, I've been doing this a long time now, and I say this all the time because it's the freaking truth. Like, if everybody, at least every American, can remember Christmas morning when they were kids. I mean, you remember getting your brothers or sisters up, or getting your dad or mom out of bed at whatever time, 5 a.m., go back to bed, right? And then you come back an hour later or something, and they'd finally drag themselves out. And you're so excited to go down there and rip all those presents apart. That comes back when you start breeding snakes.
Yes, it does.
And more than once a year. Like you've got, she ovulated. We have a prelay shed. Now we have eggs. And then when they start pipping, and then when they crawl out, it's awesome.
It is.
My sister says that I have the Tom and Jerry, like the cat. Whenever he goes, or whatever, when I get super excited, I squeal that away. And so every clutch, you know, in the mornings, I come down the hallway, you know, and Bobby's like, what? I'm like, eggs. So we know that scream.
Bobby needs to record you. We need to see that.
Yeah. I want to see that for sure. Yeah. Like, you know, like the other thing is like when you get surprises, like that's that one that I think is Super Scrambler, Super OD Calico, that's crazy orange. When I open that egg, I'm like, I mean, literally, I'm by myself. I'm like, what? What is that? What is that? You know, I mean, I would love to see video of myself, and I'm like, yes, you know, it is like being a kid again, and you just got, you know, Atari back.
Yeah.
That's how
100%. Yeah.
it was Atari back then. But
Except for Ataris don't make more Ataris.
right, whatever exciting thing is when you were a kid and you get, it's just like getting that, and like you said, it happens more than once a year. It's happening for a whole season. Yeah, it never there's sometimes, you know, you get some clutches, you're like, geez, I get anything all that exciting out of that can happen. But you can also open a present you're not from Aunt Celia or somebody that you're not very excited about. But there's always some stuff in there that's just like every year, if you're pursuing your project, you're pursuing your passion, you're going towards whatever you think is next, there's always a surprise where you go, oh my God, it's way better than I thought, or who knew this gene was going to do this with that, you know? So yeah, it's a great hobby for sure.
Absolutely. And if you're worried about not liking what comes out of your eggs, just breed banana. That's so much fun. You get so much different looks. You get non-bananas, the yellow snake. It's so much fun. That was my first one, was a banana was in the pairing, and that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
A1.
I don't have much banana. I have a little bit still. But it's kind of like a little overpowering, I guess is what I would say. And then my complaint about it, and you could add stuff to it to stop this, but you know, we've all seen banana. I'm trying to think of a combo, but think of whatever your most beautiful banana combo is. But then as it gets older, it kind of gets mushy, and this is just my experience with it. And so I end up disappointed, and I did end up putting a few different things and making some really cool banana combos. But again, like for me, if it's way better as a hatchling, and no matter what I do to it, it's not going to be better as an adult, or at least as good as an adult, then I try to stay away from it, or figure out, like, I'm excited about lace. I didn't know anything about lace. And there's a gene that is just going to add, you know, a brightening component, and then there's scramble, a brightening component. So you, for all I know, you could start putting, you know, you get a white lace super scrambler banana, and it's freaking nightlight, you know, it's on fire. But that's what people in general have to go for. How do I make this beautiful? I had a breeder, and more than one breeder I've heard say, hey man, when I say this stuff, I go, hey man, we don't sell adults, we sell babies. And I think exactly the opposite. I understand why people think that way. It's the truth. We sell babies. But I want people to be happy with that thing. I want them to be happy they spent that money, and I want them to come back because they open their drawers and they go, one of my favorite snakes is this one I bought from Hernan Reptiles. It looks great. I'll go buy more.
Well, and it gives that animal like home assurance, like that animal is going to be taken care of because it looks exactly the same it did when they bought it, and you still love that snake.
Yeah. And I think we've all had that experience where you spend whatever you consider to be a lot of money on a snake for you. And I can tell you from personal experience, that amount has changed for me.
Oh, for sure.
It's always going up, right? So much to my wife's chagrin, but it's always going up, it seems. But, you know, I can remember just payment plans and after this animal, and I can't wait to get it, and I get it. And then within 6 months, I'm like, what happened? You know, and that sucks. I don't want anybody to do that with my snakes.
Yeah.
Well, I think everybody in the Reptile Lounge needs to pitch in some money for Chris, and let's get a snake from him.
Yeah. We'll share it.
Sharing is caring. Hey, there was one there. I remember the price. It was $3,500, but I can't remember what it was all in it. But I know it was Scrambler, and it was beautiful. And I was just like, Sammy, you need to buy that snake. And I think he almost did, but
really
he went with the other one. So
Yeah, when he was at the Daytona show, he'd already spent a bunch of his money. He was getting money from his brother, I think it was, or his brothers. He had a big extended.
So, yeah, they look like triplets, but that's his friend's father-in-law.
Oh, okay.
There were
I remember they took a picture, and I mean, there were literally like 20, 30 people in front of my table. They were all related.
Yeah.
I'm like waving, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got a lot of stuff too that I've hatched. I just shipped a lot of stuff yesterday and today. And so, you know, anybody that's doing this on you know, like really breeding, and I'm a small breeder still, you know, I might do 20 to 35 clutches a year. You know, that's kind of my area. But anyway, I was able to ship snakes, so I'm able to move stuff around. You know, if I sell hatchlings, I've got some other hatchlings that I'm just getting ready to get out of the incubator that have to go in, or I've got yearlings in the hatchling racks and they got to go into the kind of the middle rack. So everybody knows that rigmarole. So I was doing a lot of that today after I had shipped things, and I've got so much stuff that if I could magically get it online tomorrow, I would be selling it. But I got to get it eating, and I've got to get pictures, and everything takes time. It's just hard.
Yeah.
But I've got some great high OD scrambler stuff. I did a pairing, and I'll eventually be able to show these. I just hatched out a pairing where I got super deep orange Barnard line black pastels. And they're just going to be, they're nice now, but after maybe when they really pop at around 500 or 600 grams, like unbelievably. So I'm excited about that. And I got some with scrambler in them. So I'll get those pictures out eventually, and I'll get those animals for sale eventually, but they're really nice. I'll be keeping probably 1.1 for myself.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Jamie hit you up down here. Just send them to him. He'll do it for you.
Yeah. There you go. I see you there, Jamie.
I do the same thing. Saying. Well, yeah. I dropped your link below in the video description, your Morph Market, your Instagram, your Facebook. Y'all need to hit him up. He's got some babies he needs to send my way.
And I gotta tell you, it's been I say it to give people hope. I was having rough times over the last year or so, like a lot of other people, but it has really started to turn around for me, and I'm very thankful of it and thankful for it. And I think other people, you know, just get out. A classic thing to say, but it's really the truth. I had a lot of stuff that wasn't even on Morph Market. How the hell are you going to sell it if it's not for sale? You know, so, yeah. You know, just get your stuff out there, get some stuff you don't want in an auction, take the hit if that's what you got to do. And it can turn around, because it's turning around for me. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for having me on. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you dropping my logo and links and all that sort of stuff too.
I mean, I appreciate you coming on. It's been amazing talking to you.
100%.
Finally, I wish I could have bombarded him more in Florida, but it was stinking hot. You were in the hot room.
We were in the hot room. The second room is the hot room for sure.
Yes.
And that Saturday, I said, the guys I was with were making fun of me because it was basically the same speech over and over again all day, you know, because everybody wanted to know about high OD and scrambler. That was it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You did amazing.
That was awesome.
Yep. Thank you again. And we'll see everybody Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Central Time for the Reptile Lounge. And next Wednesday, I'll show you the next guest. Bye.